Hello, hello, hello. Hello everyone, welcome to my first stream. Today we are starting with CA Intercorporate Law, Chapter 1 Preliminary. We will cover Section 1 short title and the important definitions in the Section 2. Let's start with the page 1 introduction. The Companies Act 2013 is an act to consolidate and amend the law relating to the companies. The legislation was necessitated to meet the changes in the national and international economic environment and for expansion and growth of economy of our country. The Companies Act 2013 received the assent of the Honorable Prime President of the India on 29 August 2013 and was notified in the official gazette on 30th August 2013 for the public information stating that different states may be appointed for enforcement of different provisions of the Companies Act 2013 through notifications. Since Section 1 came into force on 30th August 2013, 90 sections came into force on 12th December 2013. 143 sections were enforced from 1st April 2014 and so on. The Companies Act 2013 is a rule-based legislation with 470 sections and 7 schedules. The entire Act has been divided into 29 chapters. Each chapter has at least one set of rules. The Companies Act 2013 aims to improve corporate governance, simplify regulations, and strengthen the interest of investors. Thus, enactment makes our corporate regulations more contemporary. To short title, extent, commencement and application. Section 1 of the Companies Act 2013 details with the title of the act according to which this act may be called as Companies Act 2013. Further section deal with the extent to the applicability of the act. It says that the act shall extend to the whole of India. This section also specifies the date of commencement of this act. Accordingly, this section shall come into force at once and remaining provisions of the Act shall come into force on such date as central government may, by notification in the official gazette, appoint and differentiate dates may be appointed for different provisions of the Act, and any reference in any provision to the commencement of this Act shall be construed as a reference to the coming into force of that provision. This section furthermore states of the applicability of the Act. The provisions of the Act apply to companies incorporated under this Act or any previous law. We will not be reading example. No. The term "except" in so far as shall mean excluding to the content of extent of i.e. if any provision of the Companies Act is inconsistent with any of the provisions of the other act, Insurance Act, Banking Regulation Act, Electricity Act, etc., to which the company is regulated, then that company shall comply with the provisions of the respective acts to which it is governed and regulated by. Title Companies Act 2013 extend whole of India. Commencement Section 1 came into force at once and the remaining provisions on different dates through notifications. Application 1 companies, 2 insurance companies, 3 banking companies, 4 companies producing supply electricity, companies regulated by special act, entities are notified by central government. Definitions. Section 2 of the Companies Act 2013 is a definition section. It provides various terminology used in the Act. Definitional sections or clause are known as internal aids to construction and can be of immense help in interpreting or construing the enactment of any of its parts. Also, according to clause 95 of the section 2, words and expressions used are not defined in this act but defined in the Securities Act Regulation Act 1956 or the Securities Exchange Board of India Act 1992 or Depository Acts 1996 shall have meaning respectively assigned to them in those acts. When a word or phrase is defined as having a particular meaning in the enactment, is that it is that meaning alone which must be given to it while interpreting a section of the act unless there be anything repugnant in the context. Section 2 states that in this act, unless the context otherwise requires, it is not section 2, it is section 2 clause 1 or maybe section 1 subsection 1. Maybe this will be section 1 section 2 clause 1, right? Abridged perspectives, meaning a memorandum containing such salient features of the prospectus as may be specified by the Securities and Exchange Board by making regulations in this behalf. To accounting standards mean the standards of accounting or any addendum thereto for companies or class of companies referred to in section 133. Section 133 of the Act deals with the central government to prescribe accounting standards. As per the section, the central government may prescribe the standards of accounting or any amendment thereto as recommended by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Constituted under Section 3 of the Chartered Accountants Act 1949 in consultation with and after examination of the recommendations by the National Financial Reporting Authority, Section 133 to be read with Rule 7 of the Companies Accounts Rule 2014 accordingly. The standards of accounting as specified under the Companies Act 1956 shall be deemed to be accounting standards until accounting standards are specified by the central government under Section 133. Till the Financial Reporting Authority is constituted under Section 133 of the Act, central government may prescribe the standards of accounting or any amendment thereto as recommended by Institute of Chartered Accountants of India in consultation with and after the examination of the recommendation made by the Central Advisory Committee on Accounting Standards constituted under Section 210A of the Companies Act 1956. Further, in exercise of the powers conferred by the Section 133, the central government, in consultation with the National Advisory Committee on Accounting Standards, prescribed that companies' accounting standards Rule 2006 and the company's Indian Accounting Standards Rule 2015 may be followed. The central government hereby appoints the 1st October 2018 as the date of constitution of the National Financial Reporting Authority. Alter or alteration includes the making of additions, omissions, and substitutions. Article means the article of association of as originally framed or as altered from time to time or applied in pursuance of any provision law or applied in pursuance of this act. Associate company in relation to another company means a company in which that other company has a significant influence but which is not a subsidiary company of the company having such influence and includes a joint venture company. Expression for the purpose of this clause. The expression significant influence means control of at least 20% of total voting power or control of or participation in business decision under agreement. The expression joint venture means a joint agreement whereby the parties that have joint control of the arrangement have rights to the net assets of the arrangement. White Circular dated 25/6/2014, it has been clarified that the shares held by a company in another company in a fiduciary capacity is a person who holds a legal or ethical relationship of trust with one or more parties, person or group of persons. Typically, a fiducian prudently takes care of money or other assets for another person shall not be counted for the purpose of determining the relationship of associate company. Okay. Note: students may please note that the definition of associate company as defined under AS 23 and Ind AS 28 accounting for investments in associates in consolidated financial statements, investment in associate and joint ventures is slightly different from the above definition given in the Company 2013. ठीक है 7. Auditing standards means the standard of auditing or any amendment thereto for companies or class of companies referred to in subsection 10 of the subsection 10 of section 143. Section 143 of the Companies Act 2013 deals with the powers and duties of auditors and accounting standards. Subsection 10 of the Subsection 10 of the Section 143 provides that the central government make prescribe the standards of auditing or any amended on thereto as recommended by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, constituted under Section 3 of the Chartered Accountants Act 1949 in consultation with and after examination of the recommendation made by National Financial Reporting Authority, provided that until any auditing standards are notified or any standards or standards of auditing specified by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India shall be deemed to be accounting standards. 8. Authorized capital or nominal capital means such capital as is authorized by memorandum of a company to be the maximum amount of share capital of the company. Read it. We will read it. Authorized capital or nominal capital. Okay, means such a capital as is authorized by the memorandum of company to be maximum amount of share capital of the company. Okay, 10th, board of directors or board in relation to a company means the collective body of the directors of the company. Okay. 11. Body corporate or corporation includes a company incorporated outside India but does not include a cooperative society registered under any law related to cooperative society and any other body corporate not being a company as defined in this act, which the central government may by notification specify in this behalf. 12. Book and paper, book or paper include books of account, deeds, voucher writings, document minutes, registers maintained on paper or in electronic form. Books of account includes records maintained in respect of all sums of money received and expended by a company and matters in relation to which the receipts and expenditure take place. All sales and purchase of goods and services by the company, the assets and liabilities of the company, and the items of a post as may be prescribed under the section 142 in the case of company which belongs to any class of company specified under that section. Books of account. In case of specified company specified under the section 148, item cost specified under section 148 and 1, 2 and 3 clause. Other companies, shipped and expenditure, sales and purchase, assets and liabilities. Voting branch office in relation to the company means any establishment described as such by the company. Called up capital means such part of capital which has been called for payment. Charge means any interest or lien created on property or assets of a company or any of its undertaking on both as security and includes the mortgage. Chartered accountant means a chartered accountant as defined in clause of the of subsection 1 of section 2 of the Chartered Accountant Act 1949 who holds a valid certificate of practice under subsection 1 of section 6 of that act. Chief Executive Officer CEO means an officer of a company who has been designated as such by Chief Financial Officer CFO means a person appointed as the Chief Financial Officer of a company. These definitions of the CEO and CFO should be read with section 2 clause 51 and 203 which deals with the definition and appointment of a key managerial person KMP of the Companies Act 2013. Company means a company incorporated under the act or any other previous company law. Okay. Reliance Industries Limited incorporated in 1973, Tata Steel Limited incorporated in 1907, Infosys Limited incorporated in year 1981. Such companies are incorporated under Companies Act 1956. Previous company law are also included in the above definition for being treated as a company. Okay. 21. Companies limited by guarantee. Means a company having the ability over its member limited by memorandum to such amount as the members may respectively undertake to contribute to the assets of the company in the event of its being wound up. Company limited by shares means a company having the liability of its member limited by memorandum to the amount, if any, unpaid on the shares respectively held by them. Contributory means a person liability to contribute towards the assets of the company in the events of it being wound up. Explanation. For the purpose of this clause, it is hereby clarified that a person holding fully paid shares in a company shall be considered as a contributory. Control shall include the right to appoint a majority of the directors or to control the management of policy decisions exercisable by a person or person acting individual or in concert. concerned, directly or indirectly, including by virtue of their shareholding or management rights or shareholders' agreements or voting agreements or in any other manner. It is an inclusive definition and relevant for provisions relating to subsidiary and holding companies. Debenture includes debenture, stock, bonds, or any other instrument of a company evidencing a debt, whether constituting a charge on the assets of a company or not, provided that the instruments referred to in Chapter 3D of the Reserve Bank of India Act 1934 and such other instruments as may be prescribed by the central government in consultation with the Reserve Bank of India issued by a company shall not be treated as debenture. Okay. Director means director appointed to the board of company. Dividend includes any interim dividend document, includes summons, notice, requisitions, order, declaration, form, and register, whether issued and or kept in a possession of this act or under any other law for the time being in the force or otherwise maintained on paper or in electronic form. Employees stock option means the option given to the directors, officers, or employees of a company or of its holding company or subsidiary company or companies if any which gives such directors, officers, or employees the benefit or right to purchase or to subscribe for the shares of the company at a future date at a predetermined price. Expert includes an engineer, a valuer, a chartered accountant, a company secretary, a cost accountant, and any other person who has the power or authority to issue a certificate in pursuance of any law for the time being in force. Financial statement in relation to a company includes a balance sheet as at the end of the financial year, a profit and loss account, or in the case of company carrying on any activity not for the profit and income expenditure account for the financial year. Cash flow statement for that financial year, a statement of changes in equity if applicable, and any explanatory note annexed to or forming part of any document referred to in the subclause 1 to subclause 4, provided that the financial statement with respect to one person company, shell, small company, and dormant company may not include the cash flow statement exemptions. For private companies, the proviso section 240 shall be read as follows: provided that the financial statement with the respect to one person company, shell, small company, dormant company, private company, if such private company is a startup, may not include the cash flow statement. Explanation: for the purpose of this act, the term startup or startup company means a private company incorporated under the Companies Act 2013 or the Companies Act 1956 and recognized as the startup in accordance with the notification issued by the Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion, Ministry of Commerce and Industry. The exceptions, modifications, and adaptations shall be applicable to the private company which has not committed a default in filing its financial statement under Section 137 of the said Act on annual return under Section 92 of the said Act with the registrar. Notes: students may note that profit and loss may be referred as statement of profit and loss under the Act at some places. All right. Financial year in relation to any company or body corporate means the period ending on 31st day of the March every year where it has been incorporated on or after the first day of a January of a year. The period ending on 31st day of the March of the following year in respect where a financial statement of the company or body corporate is made up, providing that where a company or body corporate which is a holding company or subsidiary or associate company of a company incorporated outside India and is required to follow a different financial year for consolidation of its accounts outside India, the central government may, on application made by that company or body corporate in such form and manner as may be prescribed, allow any period as its financial year, whether or not that period is a year. The term company incorporated outside India refers to the foreign company incorporated under any applicable laws for the constitution of companies outside India. Okay. Free reserves means such reserves which, as a part the latest audited balance sheet of a company, are available for distribution as dividend. Okay. What is this? With respect to the specified IFSC public company and specified IFSC private company, a proviso has been inserted with notification dated 5 January 2017 stated that the above stated company which is subsidiary of a foreign company, the financial year of the subsidiary may be same as the financial year of its holding company and approval of tribunal shall not be required. Okay. Provided also that the any application pending before the tribunal as on the date of commencement of the company's amendment ordinance 2019 shall be disposed of by the tribunal in accordance with the provisions applicable to it before such commencement, provided that also that company or body corporate existing on the commencement of this act shall within a period of 2 years from such commencement align its financial year as per the provisions of the clause. This provision is not relevant now, however, it is still forming part of the act. Okay? Provided that any amount representing unrealized gains, notional gains or revaluation of assets, whether shown as a reserve or otherwise, or any change in carrying amount of an asset or a liability recognized in equity, including surplus in profit and loss count on measurement of asset or liability at fair value, shall not be treated as free reserves. Alright. Global depository receipts means any instrument in the form of a depository receipt by whatever name called created by foreign depository outside India and authorized by the company making an issue of such depository receipts. Government company means any company in which not less than 51% of the paid up share capital is held by the central government or by any state government or governments or partly by the central government and partly by one or more state governments includes a company which is a subsidiary company of such a government company. Explanation. For the purpose of this clause, the paid up share capital shall be constituted as total voting power where shares with the differential voting rights have been issued. Alright. Holding company in relation to one or more other companies means a company of which such companies are subsidiary companies. Explanation. For the purpose of this clause, the expression company includes any body corporate. For meaning of subsidiary company refers to the definition given in section 287 of the Companies Act 2013. Issued capital means such capital as the company issues from time to time for subscription. Key manager person in relation to company means the executive officer or the managing director or the manager is the company secretary, the whole-time director, the chief financial officer. Such other officer may not more than one level below the directors who is in whole-time employment designed as key managerial personnel by the board and such other officers as may be prescribed. Note, however, till no other officer has been prescribed, CEO, MD, manager, company secretary, whole-time director, such other officer, not one below directors plus in whole-time employment designed as a KMP, key managerial person. ठीक है, other prescribed officer. Listed company means a company which has any of its security listed on any recognized stock exchange, provided that such class of companies which have listed or intend to list such class of securities as may be prescribed in consultation with the Securities and Exchange Board shall not be considered as listed companies. According to the Rule 2A of the company's specification of the definition details rules 2014, the clause the following classes of the companies shall not be considered as listed companies, namely public companies which have not listed their equity shares on a recognized stock exchange but have listed their non-convertible debt securities issued on private placement basis in terms of SEBI issue and listing of debt securities regulation 2008 or non-convertible debentures, non-convertible redeemable preference shares issued on private placement basis in terms of SEBI issue and listing of non-convertible redeemable preference shares regulation 2013. Both categories of one and above. Private companies which have listed a non-convertible debt securities on private placement basis on a recognized stock exchange in terms of SEBI issue and listing of debt securities regulations 2008. Public companies which have not listed their equity shares on a recognized stock exchange but whose equity shares are listed on a stock exchange in the jurisdiction as specified in the subsection 3 of the section 23. Okay, we will take a 2-minute break now. Okay, now we will resume from 53 manager. Manager means an individual who, subject to the superintendent's control and direction of board of directors, has the management of the whole or substantially the whole of affairs of a company and includes a director or any other person occupying the position of a manager by whatever name called, whether under a contract or services of contract or not. Managing director means a director who, by virtue of articles of a company or an agreement with the company or a resolution passed in its general meeting or by its board of directors, is entrusted with the substantial powers of management of the affairs of the company and includes a director occupying the position of a managing director by whatever name called. Is audio Okay, let's continue. Explanation. For the purpose of this clause, the power to do administrative acts as of routine nature, when so authorized by the board, such as the power to affix the common seal of a company to any document or to draw or and endorse any check on accounts of the company in any bank or to withdraw and endorse any negotiable instrument or to sign any certificate of share or to direct a registration of transfer of any share shall not be deemed to be included within the substantial powers of the management. Explanation. For any individual to be called as managing director, an individual shall first to be director duly appointed by the company under the provisions of the Companies Act 2013. This also implies that an individual who is not a director in the company cannot be appointed as a managing director of the company. Member in relation to a company means the subscriber to the memorandum of a company who shall be deemed to have agreed to become member of a company on its own registration shall be entered as a member in its registration of members. Every other person who agrees in writing to become a member of a company and whose name is entered in the register of members of company. Every person holding shares of a company and whose name is entered as beneficial owner in the records of a depository. Memorandum means the memorandum of association of a company as originally framed or as altered from time to time in a pursuance of any previous company law or of this act. Net worth means the aggregate value of the paid up share capital and over reserves created out of the profits, securities, premium account, and debit or credit balance of a profit and loss account after reducing the aggregate value of that accumulated losses, deferred expenditure, and miscellaneous expenditure not written off as per the audited balance sheet but does not include reserves created out of a revaluation of assets, write back of depreciation, and amalgamation. We're not doing example. Notification means the notification published in official gazette and the expression notified shall be construed accordingly. Officer includes any director, manager, or key managerial personnel or any other person in accordance with whose directions or instructions the board of directors or any of more of directors is or are accustomed to act officers who is in default for the purpose of any provision in this act which enacts that an officer of a company who is in default shall be liable to any penalty or punishment by way of imprisonment, fine, or otherwise means any of the following officers of a company, namely whole-time director, key managerial personnel, where there is no managerial person, such director or directors as specified by the board in his behalf, and who has or have given his or their consent in writing to the board to such specification, or all the directors if no director is so specified. Any person who is under the intermediate authority of the board or any key managerial personnel is charged with any responsibility including maintenance, filing or distribution of accounts or records, authorizes, actively participates in, knowingly permits or knowingly fails to take active steps to prevent any defaults. Any person in accordance with whose advice, directors or instructions of the board of directors of company is accustomed to act other than a person who gives advices to the board in a professional capacity. Every director, in respect of a contravention of any provisions of this act, who is aware of such a contravention by the virtue of the receipt by him or any proceedings of the board or participation in such proceedings without objecting to the same, or where such contraventions had taken place with his consent or convenience. In respect of the issue or transfer of any shares of a company, the share transfer agents, registrars, and merchant bankers to the issue or transfer. Okay, 62. One person company means a company which has only one person as a member. Okay, ordinary and special resolution means the ordinary resolution, or as the case may be, special resolution referred to in section 114, ordinary and special resolution. Paid up share capital or share capital paid up means such aggregate amount of money credited as paid up as is equivalent to the amount received as paid up in respect of a shares issued, and also includes any amount credited as paid up in respect of shares of the company, but does not include any other amount received in respect of such shares by whatever name called. Postal ballot means voting by post or through any electronic mode. The definition is related to the section 110 to be read with Rule 22 of the Company Management and Administration Rules 2014, specifying the procedures to be followed for conducting of business through postal ballot, and provides the list of items of business which shall be transacted only by the means of voting through a postal ballot means prescribed by the rules under this act. Private company means a company which having a minimum paid up share capital as may be prescribed, which by its articles restrictions the right to transfer shares, except in case of one person company limits the number of its members to be 200. Okay, provided that where two or more persons hold one or more shares in a company jointly, they shall, for the purpose of this clause, be treated as a single member. Provided further that the person who are in employment of a company and persons who have been formerly in the employment of the company were the members of the company while in that employment and have continued to be members after the employment ceased, shall not be included in the number of members, and prohibits any invitation to the public to subscribe for any securities of the company. The requirement of having a minimum paid up share capital shall not apply to a company. Section 8. Okay, so section 8 company formation of sections with charitable objects, etc. Wide notification dated 15 June 2015. The above mentioned exemption shall be applicable to a company. Section 8 company which has not committed a default in filing its financial statements under section 137 of the Companies Act 2013 or annual return under section 92 of the said act with register wide amendment notification GSR 484 584E dated 13 June 2019. Promoter means a person who has been named as such in a prospectus or in identified by the company in the annual return referred to in the section 92, or who has control over the affairs of a company directly or indirectly, whether as a shareholder, director, or otherwise, or in accordance with whose advice, directions, or instructions the board of directors of the company is accustomed to act, provided that nothing in the subclause C shall apply to the person who is acting merely in professional capacity. Okay. Prospectus means any document described or issued as a prospectus and includes a red herring prospectus or shelf prospectus, nor any notice, circular, advertisement, or any other document inviting offers from the public for the subscription of the for or purchase of any securities of a body corporate. Public company means a company which is not a private company and has a minimum paid up share capital as may be prescribed, provided that the company which is subsidiary of a company not being a private company shall be deemed to be public company for the purposes of this act, even where such subsidiary companies continues to be a private company in its articles. Register of companies means the register of companies maintained by the registrar on paper or in any electronic mode and made under this act. Registrar means a registrar and an additional registrar, a joint registrar, a deputy registrar, and an assistant registrar having the duty of registering companies and discharging various functions under this act. Related party with the reference to a company means a director on his or his relative, a key manager person or his relative, a firm in which a director, manager, or his relative is a partner, a private company in which a director or manager or his relative is a member or a director, a public company in which a director or manager is a director and holds along with his relative more than 2% or of his paid up share capital. Any body corporate whose board of directors, managing director, or manager is accustomed to act in accordance with the advice, directions, or instructions of a director or manager. Any person whose advice, directions, or instructions a director or manager is accustomed to act, provided that nothing in the subclause 6 and 7 shall apply to the advice, directors, or instructions given in the professional capacity 6, 7, bro. 8. Any body corporate which is a holding subsidiary or an associate company of such company or subsidiary of a holding company to which it is also subsidiary or an investing company or venture of a company. Explanation: for the purpose of this clause, the investing company or the venture of a company means a body corporate whose investment in the company would result in the company becoming an associate company of the body corporate. Such other person as may be prescribed as per Rule 3 given in the company's specification of the definitions details. Rule 2014 for the purpose of the subclause 9 of clause 76 of the section 2 of the act, a director other than an independent director or key managerial personnel of the holding company or relative with the reference to a company shall be deemed to be a related party. Alright, next 77 relative with the reference to any person means anyone who is related to another if they are member of a Hindu undivided family, they are husband and wife, or one person is related to the other in such a manner as may be prescribed. Rule 4 given in the company's specification of definitions detail. Rule 2014 provided of the list of relatives in terms of clause 77 of the section 2. Accordingly, a person shall be deemed to be relative of another if he or she is related to one another in the following manner, namely father, provided that the term father includes stepfather; mother, provided that the term mother includes stepmother; son, provided that the term son includes stepson; son's wife; daughter, daughter's husband; brother, provided that the term brother includes the stepbrother; sister, provided that the term sister includes the stepsister. Remuneration means any money of or its equivalent given or passed to any person for service rendered by him and includes requisites as defined under the Income Tax Act 1961. Shares means a share in the share capital of the company and includes stock. Small company means a company other than a public company. Paid up share capital of which paid up share capital of which does not exceed 50 lakhs or such a higher amount as may be prescribed, which shall not be more than 10 crores, and turnover of which, as per profit and loss account for the immediately preceding financial year, does not exceed 2 crore rupees or such a higher amount as may be prescribed, which shall not be more than 100 crore rupees, provided that nothing in this clause shall apply to a holding company or subsidiary company, a company registered under Section 8, or company or body corporate governed by any special act. As per company specification of definition details, the Rule 2014 for the purpose of the subclause 2 and the subclause 2 of the clause 85 of section 2 of the act, paid up capital and turnover of a small company shall not exceed rupees 4 crore and rupees 40 crore respectively. These are the old limits, if I remember correctly, right? New limits are 10 crore and 100 crores. Capital should be 10 crore and turnover should be 100 crores, right? Subscribed capital means such part of a capital which is for the time being subscribed by the members of a company. Subsidiary and a subsidiary company or subsidiary in relation to any other company. That to say holding company means a company in which the holding company controls the composition of board of directors or exercises or controls more than one half of the total voting power, either at its own or together with one or another of its subsidiary companies, providing that such class or classes of holding companies as may be prescribed shall not have layers of subsidiaries beyond such manners as may be prescribed. Explanation: for the purpose of this clause, a company shall be deemed to be subsidiary company of the holding company even if the control referred to in subclause 1 or subclause 2 is of one of another subsidiary company of the following company of the holding company. The composition of a company's board of directors shall be deemed to be controlled by another company if that another company, by exercise of some power exercisably by it at its discretion, can appoint or remove all or majority of the directors. The expression company includes any body corporate layer in relation to a holding company means a subsidiary or subsidiaries. As per the notification dated 27 December 2013, Ministry clarified that the shares held by a company or power exercisable by it in another company in a fiduciary capacity shall not be counted for the purpose of determining the holding subsidiary relationships in terms of the provision of the Section 287 of the Companies Act 2013. Sweat equity shares means such equity shares as are issued by a company to its directors or employees at a discount or for consideration other than cash, for providing their know-how or making available rights in the nature of intellectual property rights or value additions by whatever name called. Total voting powers in relation to any matter means the total number of the votes which may be cast in regard to that matter on a poll at a meeting of a company if all the members thereof or their proxies having a right to vote on that matter are present at the time at the meeting and cast their votes. Tribunals means the company law tribunal constituted under section 1408. Turnover means the gross amount of revenue recognized in the profit and loss account from the sale, supply, or distribution of goods or on account of services rendered or both by a company having during a financial year. Unlimited company means a company not having any limit on the liability of its members. Voting right means the right of a member of a company to vote in any meeting of the company or by means of postal ballot. And it's over. So we have now left question answers. So we will not be doing question answers, we will only be reading the content of the chapter. So if you are here until the end, I thank you for listening to my whatever voice I have. And माफ कर देना भाई अगर थोड़ी गलती हो गई हो तो and tomorrow we will be reading next chapter. The chapter name was the incorporation of company. Yes, the incorporation of the company. We will be reading tomorrow that. So please like, share, subscribe my channel. This is my first live stream. Yeah. So thank you and goodbye. See you tomorrow.